cheese.
One time.
It's 4:20 somewhere, and right now that somewhere is right here. So hello and welcome to the Cannabis Show. My name is a very out of breath producer Vince, and here's your host, Jake Brown.
Hey, thanks everyone for tuning in to the Cannabis Show. I'm your host, Jake Brown, and this is where we talk all things weed.
That is hashtag all things weed.
And that's the serious marijuana news along with the fun stuff. And if you go to visit thecannabis.co right now, you can read our exclusive interview with Bob Marley's friend and art director Neville Garrick, who designed most of the album art for the reggae icon.
And because of that, most reggae iconic images.
You can also find out how hair drug testing determines when you've been getting high.
I really do need to read that one.
And you can get the inside story on how more and more Texans are lobbying for new marijuana laws. How are you doing, producer Vince?
You know, it's a great day to be alive, Jake. I haven't had my kid yet. It's any day now. This is the 99th episode of the Cannabist Show that we are taping right now. So it's a really fun anniversary next week that I'm hoping my child will let me be here for. How are you doing, Jake?
Really good. I just got back from Mexico. I got to get high and swim with sea turtles, which was fun. I'd never done that before. We weren't supposed to be able to. Apparently, the EPA down there said, hey, no more swimming with sea turtles the day before we got there. We snuck down to the beach at 8 a.m., and when we got out at 9, there was a bunch of Marines standing around with giant guns. So we nailed that.
That's exactly what you want to see when you're nice and high in Mexico.
But now it is time for the Week in Weed, and let's kick it off in America's fourth largest city, Houston. We're starting March 1st. Possession of up to 4 ounces of weed won't land you in jail, but rather a new program, according to the Harris County District Attorney. Even decriminalization is bigger in Texas.
Hey, so you will not go to jail for 4 ounces in Texas, but you will go to jail for 1.5 ounces, or it's probably fine here in Colorado. But in Texas, individuals busted for weed wouldn't even have to go to court. They'd have up to 90 days to complete a 4-hour course on decision making to avoid facing charges. Brainwashing.
And I would suggest starting the curriculum with number 1, don't get caught.
Good call.
This is DA Kim Ogg's first action on marijuana. She told reporters after her inauguration in January that, quote, I've never felt good about putting marijuana users in the same jail cells as murderers, unquote. That seems to me downright reasonable. Let's move on to Amsterdam, where somehow it's still illegal to grow weed.
What?
Yes, but this week a bill that would allow marijuana farms passed its first hurdle in the Dutch Parliament.
Das Dutch Parliament. After passing 77 to 72 in the lower house, it's moved to the upper house, or first chamber, for those not up on their Dutch Parliament terminology. I am more curious to find out if this will pass at all. What's going to happen?
I have to say, when I went to the Amsterdam Cannabis Cup in 2014 and wrote about it for the Cannabist, the quality of the weed there wasn't close to Colorado. I saw a lot of mold, mildew, so regulating the industry could be really great for consumers there. But also Amsterdam, let's not kid ourselves, you're Amsterdam. It's time to grow some pot already.
Start acting like you're Amsterdam,
yeah,
Amsterdam.
Come on, embrace your Amsterdam. Coming home to Colorado, we asked for it a few episodes back when fast food employees were busted for allegedly selling pot out of a Burger King in New Hampshire. But drive-through marijuana is going to be a real thing here in the Centennial State.
And I heard this news on NPR, because of course I did, in my car while I was driving to work the other morning, and I almost spun out of the parking lot of the Denver Post just to head to Parachute to just finally fill that little dream, man. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, like you mentioned, it is coming to the western Colorado town of Parachute with a population of just over 1,000 people. But Tumbleweed Express is expected to open in March, allowing people to drive up to the old car wash and leave with a jar of ganja? How about a jar of ganja in what I'm calling a dream come true?
Yes, due to regulations, however, no purchases can be made if anyone under 21 is a passenger in the car, so I'll, dump the baby seat out a mile down the road.
Yeah, I'm predicting a lot of family vacation restroom stops as people pass through Parachute. And according to the Parachute town manager, Stuart MacArthur, it's been great for the city, with marijuana sales tax receipts making up nearly 30% of all of the business in the town.
Of 1,000.
Yes. To the surprise of no one, he also says it's been great for restaurants in the city.
Did you call it a city?
For those of you tuning in thinking, what about me, a person without a car? Don't worry, the first steps towards marijuana home delivery also got off the ground here in Colorado.
That's right, if you don't have a car, people who have cars can help you, because Senate Bill 192 would let medical and rec shops apply for special licenses that would allow them to distribute weed outside of their doors in a program that's modeled after Oregon's recently launched delivery option. In one of the most stoniest quotes that I've ever heard, which is saying something, an Oregon dispensary manager told KGW.com, quote, "This is like, you're going to call the pizza guy, and then you're going to call us, and we're going to have a good time," end quote.
Also included in SB 192 is something Representative Jonathan Singer called a safety valve in an phone interview with the Cannabist's Alicia Wallace. The provision was put in place in the event that there's federal pushback against recreational weed, allowing a one-time transfer from recreational shops to medical dispensaries, with Singer noting that this means we won't have weed, quote, escaping out the back door. Unquote.
No, it'll just continue to run out the front door like it has been for years, y'all.
Yeah, and we're still a ways off with licensing for medical deliveries, proposed to start in January of 2018, recreational in 2019, and of course, that's only if this very cool law is passed by lawmakers.
Very cool lawmakers.
Now, let's go to the cannabis business and policy writer Alicia Wallace with this week's Quick Hit.
Let's pause to take a gaze into the crystal ball. In the year 2025, America's cannabis industry could very well have $24.5 billion in sales. That's the latest forecast from one of America's leading cannabis analytics firms, New Frontier Data, which analyzed everything from existing sales trends to specific state regulations, medical marijuana patient populations, public opinions on cannabis, and more in mapping out just where this industry could go based on who has legalized today. And after looking at the numbers, New Frontier's head of industry analytics, John Caja, says, quote, "It's very hard to envision that this genie could be put back in the bottle. By 2025, California will be even more of a Goliath in the industry, accounting for $6.5 billion of that $24.5 billion national estimate. Florida's medical marijuana market, at a projected $2.5 billion, would outpace the combined medical and recreational markets of Washington, Colorado, and Massachusetts." Now, keep in mind that these projections are just that, estimates based on data currently available for an industry that's only a few years into recreational marijuana sales in a handful of states. Some industry analysts and economists caution that even near-term forecasts could have room for error. For The Cannabist, I'm Alicia Wallace with this week's Quick Hit.
Thanks, Alicia. Our first guest this week joins us all the way from California, where he co-founded a popular soda that gets you high. Please welcome, join me in welcoming Michael Lewis to the Cannabis Show. Hey, Michael.
Hey, Greg.
Thanks for coming on, man. Good to see you. So, we got a can of the soda right here. I love the branding on this. It's a sharp-looking can. Why weed soda?
Well, why not? I'll put this back to you.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I mean, so was this your first foray into the world of edibles? Did you try a bunch of stuff and you were like, yeah, I like soda?
It basically was. My partner and I love soda, so that was a good start. We knew we wanted to do a beverage, but we weren't really sure, you know, what kind. So we just tested a whole bunch of stuff. We really love Asian sodas specifically, because they're a little less sweet than normal American sodas.
I love that, right?
Yeah.
It's you go over, you try a different type of soda, you go, oh, this is kind of life-changing. So you're like, all right, it's going to be a soda. Did you have any like beverage experience before this, or were you a guy that just like a Soda Stream enthusiast, perhaps? Were you making your own?
We just love soda. I don't know what to tell you.
No, it's awesome.
My partner and I worked at Weed Maps, so we had some exposure to the industry. And we started looking at all the edibles, we evaluated a bunch of different categories, and we thought drinks are already such a social thing. Right. You know, people like to drink, that's what we do.
Yeah.
And we thought sodas are refreshing, they're delicious, you can take them everywhere. I mean, people just, it's already part of our lifestyle as it is.
Right. Beverage on the go. I mean, I would guess that this would be a regular old canister if I saw it sitting on the shelf, with the exception of for medical use only. I don't see that on a lot of sodas.
It also says not a food, which which people seem to appreciate for some reason. I think it is more of a food, but yeah, it's just, you know, we wanted it to be really refreshing, and we wanted it to taste good, because so many of the other beverages seemed to not taste good.
Yeah, I love that. Like, what did Doug Benson say? He was like, "This is the cannabis soda that doesn't taste like bong water."
Exactly.
I think that's a pretty ringing endorsement for me.
It is. It took us a while to take to that, but we realized that's a very nice thing to say in our industry.
Totally.
So yeah, we connected with some flavor chemists, and we said this thing just should really taste delicious. We didn't have an exact model in mind. We didn't want to copycat an existing soda or any other beverage.
You didn't want to be like Dr. Pitt Pop or whatever.
Because there's a lot of that. I'm trying to think of
like, what's the fake Mountain Dew called? It's like Morning Thunder or something.
Mountain Dope or something.
Mountain Dope, yeah. Of course. Leave it to the weed soda guy.
I just come up with these all day long. Yeah, we wanted it to be its own, its own flavor, its own thing. So we, like I said, we love Asian sodas, and we gave them a few samples. And actually, this is sort of modeled after a fiber supplement in Japan.
Really?
Which, I don't know if that's a selling
Which is also
point.
not a food.
It's not a food. I wouldn't recommend drinking it or eating it.
But stoners probably need it more of it in their diet, right?
They do.
Is that true? Are we low fiber people?
I think so.
I'm learning a lot about myself.
I'll send you some.
So did you? So you go to these flavor chemists. They come back with 30 different sodas. Did you have one crazy weed tasting soda day?
We did,
Okay.
and it's a tough tasting process because, like we were talking about earlier, you can only taste so many before you lose your your skills.
Right.
Because the THC starts to kick in, and then everything is just delicious, and it doesn't matter.
Right. You're just like all of the sodas. You end up making one of those things where you're just like a little bit of all of it in there.
Exactly. And we had a lemongrass one. We had there was a root beer. There was all sorts of different flavors, but this one was really unique. It's basically a grapefruit soda, but I think when you combine it with the THC oil, it takes on its own flavor profile.
Okay, and so you infuse it with oil. What kind of extraction are you using in here? Because I know that's kind of trickier in California. It
is. It's a CO2 extract.
Okay, cool.
And we use a really high potency oil because it just makes the taste of it better.
Right.
We really, while a lot of folks focus on, the terpenes and everything else, we kind of want everything out of it. Right. So that we can have total control over the flavor.
Well, and that way you're a more consistent product, right? Every can of Sprig should taste like every other can of Sprig you've ever had.
Yeah. And you don't really, there's a little bit of a cannabis aftertaste, which is important because we want people to know that there's cannabis in it.
Right, and not bong water.
It shouldn't be, it's not bong water. And it shouldn't be, we don't want people to mistake it for a regular soda.
Yeah, because at 45 milligrams, I know a lot of people that would be a serious mistake for them.
It is, and there's a funny story.
Oh yeah.
We had struck up a deal with Riot LA, which is a comedy festival in LA.
Very familiar. Riot LA did not invite me out this year. Thanks, Riot LA. But go on.
Next year.
Yeah, exactly.
And we had, we were able to give the soda out to a lot of the talent, a lot of the comedians. And we had, it says on the can what it is. It's not a secret.
No.
But some of the comedians did not read the can. And they went ahead and drank a full soda, which, like you said, is for some people, it's potent.
Oh, yeah.
And we got in a little bit of trouble with the organizers of the festival because some of the comedians were unable to perform their sets because they got too high.
It's weed soda strikes again. When Pete Holmes, who just got a new HBO series with Judd Apatow, when he was out here for High Plains Comedy Festival, tried a rival soda, it was too high to perform as well. It seems so innocuous, right? You're like, oh, it's just a flavored beverage. I've had plenty of these in my life. And then all of a sudden, whoa, man, I don't feel like I can go out in front of a bunch of strangers.
Right. It's already such a gut-wrenching process to begin with. There were a few, I think Rory Scovel, I don't know if you know Rory Scovel.
Rory's hilarious.
He struggled with it, I think, at some point.
I'd see that's so hard for me to believe. Rory's such like an off-the-cuff, in-the-moment guy, but I can imagine, maybe that kind of...
Well, it was nice because people had told me, I started getting emails and text messages, and they said, I'm at the Ace Theater downtown, and there's a few thousand people sitting here, and this guy's just on stage talking about weed soda, and I think it's your weed soda. And then I saw some YouTube videos, and sure enough, he's holding a can. He's like, I want everybody to know what's going on around here. He's like, they're giving these out around here, and it's messing people up. So we viewed that as a really positive moment in the history of the company.
Absolutely. I was going to ask, because you have such it seems like Sprig and comedy are very intertwined between Riot LA, Jash Fest. You have a few comedians that I see on the Instagram checking out the soda. What is Sprig's connection to the comedy community?
So it was something that we wanted to do from day one. We thought comedy is just such a natural partnership with cannabis. It's, you know, I don't know if you know this, but when you get high, you tend to laugh a little bit more. It makes
Learning so much about stoners today.
in addition to a fiber issue, it makes you giggly.
So you're like, okay, this is like the perfect pairing.
Yeah, and we wanted to do something kind of like how, you know, Red Bull really got close with action sports and, you know, injected themselves in that community. We wanted to do that in comedy. So we just sent out 4-packs of soda left and right to comedians. And the first one that came to mind was Doug Benson, because why wouldn't he? Or why wouldn't we?
Doug Benson, he's the pot comics, why wouldn't we?
Yeah, I guess we have to give him some. So we send him some, and we didn't hear anything, and I thought, well, maybe, I'm sure he tried it, but whatever.
Maybe it worked.
Yeah, maybe it worked too well, and he can't talk. But I get an email a few weeks later from one of his producers on his show, Getting Doug with High, and he said, hey, you know, Doug got your soda, and he loved it, and he brought it on the show, and he's just been singing its praises, and here's a link, you know, go check it out. So I go and start watching the video, and it wasn't quite as described. I wouldn't say he was like it was a glowing review. It's Doug Benson. It's kind of his character, but he was saying, excuse me, he was saying, well, he's like, I don't really drink soda because sugar's not very good for you. And he starts off going down this really negative thing.
The ringing endorsement of Doug Benson.
He goes, so there's this Sprig, and it tastes good and it works. And I was like,
for Doug, glowing praise.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And he ended up, you know, ending with that the line about the bong water, which was nice.
Perfect. Yeah, I would slap that right wherever. You guys also, when I check out your Instagram, constantly posting these really cool pictures with cans, and then this great street art in Southern California. What is street art? You know, what's the connection there?
Sure, that's a good question. I haven't thought about that much, but
no, it's fun.
You know, we like to show the product in different areas, you know, and we want people. It's such a discreet product compared to a lot of what's out there. So, you know, we want to encourage people. You know, you can bring it anywhere, and we want to. I'm not articulating this well, but
no, but it's hey, it's the soda on the go, and I love that it's always kind of cleverly positioned too. If there's like a mouth on a mural, all of a sudden the soda will be like, yeah.
It lends itself well to that, you know, and we can make sort of cheeky comments on the posts, and in the can itself, there's something sort of whimsical about it. So I think it lends itself well to graffiti and street art.
Very cool. Another thing I love about Southern California right now is that there's such a vibrant scene with kind of weed dinners, all of these different pairings. You have Bong Appetit that was just shot out there. And one of the guys from Bong Appetit, Marcel Vigneron, hosted an event with you. How did that come together?
Sure. Well, this is another funny story. I have a lot of these.
Perfect. You're in the right place for funny stories, my friend.
I just get wound up and go. So we knew my partner actually had crossed paths. His wife had crossed paths with Marcel at Coachella a couple of years ago. And there was some weird photo of Marcel feeding my partner's wife ice cream or something like that. It was an interesting photo.
Sure.
So my partner sent him an email and said, you know, I saw that photo, and I think in return you should try the Sprig, and maybe we can work together, and everything will blow over. I'm kidding. I'm making it more than it was. But
no. Anytime a Top Chef alum is feeding your wife ice cream, demand answers or business partnerships.
That's right. Either or. So he said, "Why don't you come by my restaurant, and you know we can talk for a little bit." So we went up there to Wolf, gave him a case of soda, and he loved it. He took to it. He started giving it to his friends.
High
praise. Yeah, especially from, you know, a good chef. And he gave it to Willie Nelson. Like he's got a lot of friends, I guess, in the cannabis community, in the celebrity cannabis community. And so it just kind of went from there, and we've developed this partnership where we did that event that you were referencing in November. We had a little dinner. We're going to be doing another event with Marcel in March, and we're working towards, he's going to be cooking with
the soda?
Yeah.
Make like a little Sprig vinaigrette or something?
He had an idea of doing
I'm just making like a chopped challenge in my head right now where the basket has the can of Sprig. I'm like,
gummy bear Sprig and you know, pencil shavings.
And pencil shavings. Exactly. That'll make a nice garnish. So that's coming up in March. How do people find out about that? Get more details?
They can, come on our website. They'll see it there. It'll be on our socials. I think Marcel will be promoting it a little bit through Wolf. So it'll be really cool. Limited tickets. I don't think we're actually selling tickets. It's just like, it's a giveaway thing. But we want people to try this out and experience it in different ways. Marcel was talking about making a Sprig canned chicken. Are you familiar with
I'm familiar with beer can chicken. I've cooked several. I've done Dr. Pepper chickens. I've also ruined a number of chickens this way. Yeah. So
it's
trust
a good way
in Marcel.
to ruin chicken. So we're going to make one of those. And, we've had other people, they just come up with recipes. Someone made a pie crust using Sprig as the active ingredient. I don't know how that works. But, I don't ask questions.
I'm sure someone's designed their own Sprig cocktail at this point.
They have. Actually, that was another thing that we did at Wolf. Cool. Was we had Sprig cocktails that he made up himself, and there would be tequila or whiskey with a little topper of Sprig. So everybody Ubered home.
Ooh.
At the end of that, there was.
Well, I might have to try one of those later on this evening. Michael, thank you so much. I'm going to have you bump on down the couch. We'll be back with you in just a moment. But first, let's go to our own loquacious lover of legalization lingo, Professor Pat, with this week's entry into the new Cannabis lexicon.
Bong water. The foul-smelling, sewer-like liquid sloshing around at the bottom of a water pipe or bong, which you really need to change, by the way. Bored stoners in the past have tried drinking it to get even higher, which is not recommended. Quote, "My roommate kicked over the bong, and now the whole dorm reeks like bong water."
All right, thanks, Professor P. Our second guest is a young entrepreneur that created a new way to clean your dirty glass. Welcome to the Cannabist Show, Dakota Wesley.
Hey, Jake, how you doing, man?
Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Please join Michael over here.
Absolutely. How you doing, man?
Good. Good to see you.
So,
Good to see you too.
I think you might be our youngest guest yet. You just turned 23.
I did. Yeah.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you. I hear that a lot in this industry, but it's good. It's been...
It's good to have the next generation, man. Can you tell me a little bit about how Resolution came to be?
Yeah, man. So we started in actually 2014, early 2014, and I was in my kitchen in my junior year of college, and I just got done reading a really cool article about a company in cannabis and in the product space, not so much the marijuana side. Right. And I had just turned 21, so I was like, trying to figure out ways I can tip my toes in this industry and get started, right? So I knew a gentleman in town at some local entrepreneur shop that I went to, and he actually is the vice president of Otterbox for 7 years, and he gave me a lot of guidance on how to.
He knows a thing or two.
He knows a thing or two. He knows a thing or two, and he always was just down to give me guidance. Tell me like, hey, this is what you're doing right, this is what you're doing wrong. But I got to network some great manufacturers, and next thing you know, we were able to pump out a couple thousand units with the. We literally started with $300. It was like take 300, make 600, take 600, make 1,200, and it wasn't always easy in that case, and definitely hit some walls.
Right. What are these units, by the way?
Yeah,
just for anybody that's not familiar.
Let me grab one real quick for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Check it out.
Yeah. So what we do right here is we make these caps, and we make these caps that go on top of any size water pipes. And what these do is these caps, they're airtight over type of glass. So when people travel with them, they can throw them in a backpack or things like that and be on the go. A lot of people really like that side of our business.
Right.
The main thing, though, definitely is for cleaning. People that are using this, a lot of different brands that are out there today, and also isopropyl alcohols and things like that we'd like to talk about maybe in a second here. But being able to shake that around vigorously inside the glass has never been able to happen happened before. You got to cover your hands and so forth. So
you don't get that bong water smell everywhere. I mean, so just to, I had to have a friend, since there's no consumption on the set of the Cannabis Show, I had a friend lend me her very dirty bong.
That's perfect, man.
But you can even see, like, so I've still got the old bong water. And for those that are listening to the podcast, you can go over to the Cannabist.co right now and watch. You can see how gross this bong is, but yeah, so I just strapped the caps right on here.
Absolutely.
And put it in my backpack with my laptop, just a testament to how
let me show you how to do that.
Yeah.
Right here, so what we always do is, if we get a camera on here, right here, maybe be able to show people how to do this. Just take 2 fingers on each side, and it's just more of a stretch right over, right?
Oh, wow.
So it stretches and fits anyway right there. It's also got a bumper system, so like a little piece like this is perfect if it gets knocked over on, you know, the college floor. Like I said, I just graduated, so
I'm going to stretch, and then, oh, that's much easier than when I did it terribly earlier. That's okay.
And really what this is mainly for is now people can really shake this thing vigorously rather than them covering their hands and shaking it up. You know, a lot of people are dealing with glass that are worth hundreds of dollars at a time. And,
this is not.
well, you know, even a piece like this though, you're dealing, you know, $70 to $130 retail in a store. And, you know, we're kind of that easy accessory to throw on with that glass. And that's how our distribution was really able to take off and start pushing it with the cleaners and the glass and the things like that.
Totally. All right. So I don't have anything really to clean it with. I mean, there's just this old water in here.
There should be something right on the other side here. I'd love to show you right now.
All right, Michael, you're getting involved.
Let me assist here.
Thank you, brother.
I like to stay involved.
Appreciate it.
So in the meantime, I'm just gonna play this like a small drum. Does it have any acoustic qualities?
Any acoustic qualities? So I got right here some res gel. We actually are just releasing this April 20th, and we just retail for our stores 2 weeks ago at Champs, which was awesome. It went great. All our distributors picked it up, so we'll start seeing it in stores. But it's a clay-based cleaner, and what's really cool about this is, versus isopropyl alcohol and things like that, is it's non-toxic. So isopropyl alcohol, it actually has a lot of VOC levels. So like when you're watching,
what's a USC level? Because
VOC, volatile organic compound.
Okay.
And
so I don't want those in my body.
You don't not only want those in your body, we don't want those going back into the water table more so than anything.
Okay.
So just graduated with a construction degree, we learned a lot about like what can go back into our drains and things like that. And it's really not good that we're pouring down a lot of isopropyl down drains right now. So I've been an abuser, always doing the same. So I tried to come up with a solution, and that's where we ended up with this clay-based cleaner. So I'll dump some in here while we're talking and shake it up and kind of be able to show you guys how well it works.
Yeah, this sounds crazy because I wouldn't think of clay as a particularly cleaning product. Every time I've had clay on me, it's because I'm dirty.
Right,
I've been playing in the wrong place.
Should we bring this bucket up front right here?
Yeah, we can absolutely get the bucket.
Less awkward.
Let's get producer Vince out here.
All right, thanks, producer Vince.
With the official Cannabis cleaning bucket. Here we go. All right, so what we're gonna do? Oh,
so we're just gonna dump all that dirty bong water in there. Nobody likes that. It smells bad. And another thing for the caps, obviously, when you're traveling, you know, even a drop of dirty water just completely ruins anything that gets on your backpack or anything like that.
Absolutely. And I have a super cool backpack. I didn't want that to happen. No. Okay, so we've got.
And they worked well for you?
It did.
Okay, cool, man.
I was nervous, but. All right, so we're gonna pour it right in there.
We're gonna pour a lot. Right there. We're gonna pour about 1 ounce to 2 ounces in there. And again, it's more of a gel substance. That clay-based cleaner that I talk about, when you think about cleaning up like an oil spill or things like that on a driveway, it's got a lot of similar properties to it, and it's actually extracting and grabbing the cannabis and eating it versus kind of just scrubbing it off the way isopropyl does.
Okay.
So
it'd be like if we had, say, an oil-covered penguin here. We wouldn't cover it in isopropyl alcohol. We might go with like a clay-based solution.
Exactly.
Okay, perfect. That makes sense.
It definitely would be a lot better.
What's that?
Can we get one in here to try?
Yeah. Can we bring in the post-penguin, please?
So really what our cleaner does now is the longer you leave it in there, the better it does. It is technically a soaker, but because of our caps, it allows you to really shake it up for the first time, right?
There's some agitation
and you can start just watching this stuff just falling off the glass. And, you know, you come back and, well, you can already see here, it's almost gone.
Good God.
But if you came back pretty soon, it would be, you know, if you gave it even a little bit more time.
Yeah, because that stem
So let me show you what it gets done on the stem. You'll be, I mean, it's pretty awesome, man.
Because it was about like a centimeter just caked through.
Right.
My my friend is just gross at this point. I'm just gonna.
Well, see, my friends, I have to beg them for their dirty bongs to be able to show people what I can do.
You're like, all my pieces are clean.
Right. And then the other thing, real fast, we don't have a dirty bowl on set, and again, can't be no consumption on set. But it's really cool. Our packaging for the first time, you just tear this off right here.
Okay.
And then you actually have, because of our innovative packaging, it's got a Ziploc. So for the first time, you just drop your bowl or maybe your spoon, your pipe, or something like that. Close it up, and then while you're cleaning this, you come back, pull it out, and it's perfectly clean. And our big message here is to push, taste your terps, be able to taste anything that you're smoking. So, everybody around our circle now is really about cleaning the bowl almost every single use.
And as a pot critic, I'm always worried about getting the most flavor out of something. Now, when you say just drop it in there, you set it, forget it, can you then reuse the gel?
Absolutely. So on here, I say 4 times for pipes like this, but then I actually say for like being able to drop in a spoon or something like that 8 times. And I'm telling you guys, I've had one on my counter for 2.5 months now since the samples have been in, and I've been using the same bag over and over and over.
Okay.
I didn't know when I was first starting if we were
like how long it would.
Exactly.
Wait, and will it develop the smell as well? Oh wow, that has turned to a dark.
So what I would do normally is I would take this down stem out here if you want to open that, and then I would just drop the down stem in there.
Okay.
And then next thing you know, you're ready to go.
This is not child-proof, so I'll be able to deal with it.
No worries,
all right,
man.
cool.
Yeah,
So
bam.
down stem in. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna put it in the other direction because it looks like most of the dirt is.
Well, we can shake it up too.
Oh man, this doesn't. Oh, it kind of smells nice.
Wait till you smell this. There's nothing. That's one awesome thing about our cleaner is that clay-based. Again, it actually has an additive to draw the smell out of the cleaner itself when it's done. So,
cool.
I mean, it's literally flavorless.
Is
so
it safe to touch?
Yeah, absolutely.
What if it makes contact with my eyes? That's
so
something
you're
that I
gonna want
was
to flush
worried
your
about.
eyes. No, you're definitely you're gonna want to flush your eyes, but you're gonna be okay. No, again, this is much less. The toxicity levels are off the charts below something like that. If you were gonna do isopropyl or acetones or anything like that.
This is already starting to make a huge difference. I feel like.
This is completely. If you see now, we're pretty much done on this one right here. So.
And it's been what, 2 minutes?
It's the interesting cleaning a bong on set here is first for me, guys. So thanks.
So like, what brought you into cannabis? It was just like a natural curiosity.
No, man. I mean, so I was I was going to Colorado State, go Rams. So and I was just finishing up.
He always gets that sell point in every single thing he's saying. What a pro.
Well, and I realized I really wasn't super passionate about construction. That's what my dad's a home builder, and I have something for just business and trying to learn it and go after that. So my first step was, how can I make this feasible? And it was like, okay, I got $300, and I should have brought a pair of my first caps. They're so funny looking, but I was able to get 100 units for $300 on Alibaba by telling a guy that I owned a bunch of stores, and if he helped me out,
you know. Test run. You get that first test order. And
well,
then...
again, you don't have $7-8 grand to get something started to pour molds, and once I was able to really meet a lot of people in the industry, just helped me out more than anything. I mean, being a younger guy. I'm so thankful for just so many people. It's not, I couldn't even list it off right now, but just, we go to a lot of the cannabis parties and things like that after these big events, the big industry shows, which are awesome for us, the champ shows, which are awesome for us. And afterwards, we meet people that just want to help everybody around, you know, and it's like, the industry is still so small.
Right.
For
now, yeah.
For now.
But wait, I want to know, what did your dad think? So you're going to go into the bong cap business.
Right.
You're going to leave construction.
Right.
What's his reaction then, and how does he feel now?
Right. Yeah. So when we
is Mr. Wesley watching?
Oh, he will be, I'm sure.
Awesome.
Shout out Ron. So Ron Burgundy, the Burgundy. So he married my mom when he was really young, like 18, and he was always kind of a troublemaker. And they lived like that real young, lifestyle. And my sister is 10 years older than me.
Okay.
And he
were you kind of the accident kid?
I was the last kid. Yes. They tell me no, but you never know. So, anyways, my dad has that creative side of him. Being an architect and a home builder, he has that side that really influences me, and I love cannabis for that reason. That it truly makes me think a little bit differently.
Right.
Maybe take things slower and really process a lot of thoughts more creatively, I think. And he always liked that side of it. Now, moving forward, we're in a couple thousand stores now, and I have international distribution. So it's kind of like rock on, like if we can keep crushing it, we can keep doing what I am. So he's proud of it, I guess. Cool. And
it's always good to have your parents as fans.
They absolutely are. I'm more lucky than most for sure. So
I'm gonna keep giving this a little moment.
So I'll show you what we're gonna do with that. There's actually producer Vince. Right, there's a little baggie right over there. I just wanted to show you because essentially we're just gonna dunk it in that bucket right there, and there should just be a Q-tip in one of those little baggies. Perfect.
Okay, so do the Q-tips come separately, or Q-tips sold separately, right?
Q-tips sold separately, absolutely.
Okay, so,
yeah.
I mean, listen, there's a little add-on for those at home. You're gonna All right, so I mean, this is already looking just much better. You've got the liquid in here is kind of turned to that same kind of brackish, almost black color in here. Yeah, there we go. But I mean, I would say giant improvement. Let's go to the bucket.
Let's go to the bucket. And then it takes a little twist, just trying to get that hard resin off there that's been eating it. And, we're pretty much good to go.
Look at that.
Yeah,
it's a miracle.
A sink with some hot water would be awesome. But I mean, I think we're gonna do okay with this.
You will make do with what you were given.
We'll make do with what we were given. No, I appreciate it. It's been awesome.
That was so hostile. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. So, Dakota, what advice do you have for other young entrepreneurs that are out there that are thinking about breaking into the cannabis space, but don't know where to start?
Yeah, just do it.
Just do it.
Just please
make the leap.
Just make the leap. Yeah. Again, when you start with nothing, and I can't tell you bong caps. You know how many jokes I got and laughs that there's no way. And sitting here now, I never would have thought we could have moved roughly 100,000 units in a year and a half, and most of those within the recent years. So it's time to just keep chucking at it, and if you got that dream, just try, because I'm telling you, there's going to be a wall, but you just figure out a way to get over that wall, and there's going to be another wall, and you just figure out a way to get over that wall, but do it when it comes.
Yeah, the joy of entrepreneurship.
Well, I just think too many people sit there, and they see 20 walls immediately, and they say there's no way to get over them, and then they don't do it. So just figure out that first one, get over it, and keep moving forward.
Awesome. Well, Dakota, thank you so much. I'm going to bring Michael back in. Please. Guys, coming back, I always want to know what you prefer to consume, flower, concentrates, or edibles. We can start with you, Michael.
Not concentrates. I'm kind of let me start
that's
there.
Our first part that's like, I'll abstain from one. So why not concentrates?
I think I'm just a wuss at the end of the day. And
Mark me down as a wuss
my
too,
consumption habits are, I'll smoke a little bit.
Okay.
Or I'll drink some Sprig, because I have to. For market research.
For
my
market
own
R&D.
R&D, that's the word.
That's what I always say.
What's your favorite time to drink a Sprig? Are you like a Sprig before bedtime kind of guy? Get a nice,
I think
nice
that's the
sleep?
best. Yeah, it gives you a good sleep. It's good in the morning too. Gets you, because if you're out of milk, you can just put it on your cereal. And then it's really, it's the breakfast of champions.
From the kitchen of Top Chef contestant Marcel Veteran.
Started to get very creative.
Sprig and cereal, everybody.
It's good. It's good.
All right, Dakota, what about your consumption?
Flower, definitely.
Still a flower guy.
Yeah,
cool.
Which is it's something that is definitely not prevalent within my industry. Like when I go to these trade shows and things like that, like everybody's always just dabbing everywhere.
Dabbing, the vape pens too. I feel like vape pens travel really well, and that's I'm going to put that in the concentrate category.
I mean, people bring their micro rigs everywhere though now, and the influencers are the people that are at these trade shows. So you always see kind of like what is almost coming in 6 months, right? The people that are on Instagram with whatever that may be. So
whatever
I love flower.
Cool yeah. Do you have a favorite strain right now? Anything that you've seen lately where you're just like, ooh, man? My cousin owns Greengrass Medical Center, which is in Central City, and they grow this. This
dude is up the road,
training.
They grow this grape. Yeah, right. So Preston Cowie is my cousin, and
oh, really?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I know Preston.
He's been kind of like the guy I look up to my whole life. So maybe if you know him a little bit more now, but they have some grape ape that is just it's unbelievable, and then their Lucky Charms too. So those are their two real good strands.
Grape ape, man. See, I could see grape ape pairing really well with a can of Sprig.
I could as well.
There you go.
I like it. Do you guys come up with strain pairings specific to the soda?
We really don't, but that's a great idea.
All right, well, hey, it's
now I need to take notes. But people. It's funny because we thought this would appeal to more cannabis newcomers and people who are just starting to, you know, dip their toe in the water. But it turns out that, you know, folks who like to dab a lot love Sprig, just because I think it refreshes them a little bit after they get kind of
I can definitely see that. I want to kind of figure out and ask you for the temperatures of your respective industries. Right now, I want to know kind of what's coming next, because I know in California you've got legalization and all the rulemaking, all of that going on right now. And then what's going on in kind of the ancillary product markets? What are people excited about?
You want to go first?
Should I go first?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you nailed it. I mean, it's recreational cannabis in California is the big thing we're focusing on. The rules are kind of coming together. They're not sure if it's going to be January 1st, 2018 like they thought.
Right.
But it'll happen at some point.
So, like, do you get a feeling that there's like an anxiety? Because I know that it was one of those, some people wanted legalization that were already involved in medical. Some people said, no, we'd rather just stay medical.
Yeah, I mean, some folks were saying that, and I think they want to protect the industry. They've been in it for a long time. They don't want to see a lot of, you know, other interests coming into it, which is totally understandable.
Sure.
But I think overall, people are excited now, because it's, you know, more people are going to have access to these products and to cannabis in general.
They're saying like a $5 billion market.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, we were lucky to hit so a little over $1 billion here in
Yeah, a
Colorado.
little 1.2-ish billion.
It's a
and
good
we weren't just lucky,
2016.
we were ecstatic about it.
It's just a drop in the bucket there.
Yeah, what's the future right now that you're seeing, especially when we talk about like glass markets where you're kind of, you know, inexplicably linked?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I think there's a lot of really interesting things happening in the ancillary market. There's been some guys that have been really dominant in the industry since the 70s, and
Like graphics, the bong maker graphics with the jokers on
right?
them.
Well, you know, it all comes down to the distributors. There's only a couple distributors that control the market, and that's what puts you into mass amounts of stores. And I mean, there's less than 20 of them that can put you on a national scale to be where you want to be. Right. And a lot of those guys are at a point where they're almost like tired. Like they're like, I got this industry to this point finally, you know, and they're looking for the modern smokers to come in and kind of put this industry exactly where they always dreamed it would be, which is destigmatization and really, you know, having some pride behind the industry. And I think a lot of those guys are excited about that. So.
Cool. So, I mean, being able to kind of operate more broadly, or no longer have to refer to things as tobacco products, things like that.
Yeah, I mean that's exciting. Definitely off the rip. I mean, people like Amazon and things like that are accepting our products now. So yeah,
you guys are on Amazon.
Amazon. No,
there's going to be like a plug for this episode.
So Amazon's incredible, man. I mean, I'm doing better sales on Amazon right now than I do directly to our own website, and there's a lot of digital marketing guys that know a lot more about it than I do, but there's reasons behind when they plug certain products with what people are already buying on there, and I think that's going to have a huge effect in our industry, especially since that is loosening up right as the time as Amazon is taking over.
Michael, could you ever see yourself getting to a point where you'd have like a non-medicated version of Sprig available online, like a THC-free?
You know, we've thought about it, and I think the answer is no. Because
please, I'd love to hear more.
Let me say no a few more times.
Yeah, no, it's perfect.
It's, you know, the effect is most of the fun of drinking Sprig, and we want to keep it that way. We don't want to like neuter it in a way.
Decaf Sprig,
Yeah, I mean, we are going to make
Sprig Zero.
We're coming out with a sugar-free version pretty shortly here.
Oh, cool.
We did get a lot of requests
Are you
for that.
like tasting all the sugar-free stuff right now?
We are, yeah. Well, we figured it out, and it's going to be. Well, actually, I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but it's one of the sort of time-tested.
Sprig, it's kind of a mystery.
You never know.
Ever.
All right, cool, guys. That's going to take us to this week's Pot Quiz. We have randomly determined the order, and Dakota is starting. Dakota, are you ready?
What a treat. Let's do it.
What a treat.
Enthusiasm.
He says. All right. Under Oregon's marijuana delivery rules, sales cannot be made to anyone who is A, a parent with a minor child in the home, B, visibly intoxicated, C, not a resident of Oregon, or D, wearing a wire, man.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with A.
I'm sorry, that is not correct. All right, Michael with a chance to steal. Sales cannot be made to anyone who is B, visibly intoxicated, C, from out of state, or D, wearing a wire, man.
I'm going to go with B, visibly intoxicated.
That is correct. So if you show up, I don't understand how they're going to determine this.
Like, do they have a blow on site? Or...
Right, or is it marijuana? Can I not be marijuana intoxicated?
That's also a great point there.
Because it seems like one of those things where you might get high and then you're like, oh, I'm so high, I should get more weed. When you have plenty of weed already. Maybe that's a public service for people that are getting high.
They're not driving to the shop intoxicated that way.
Right?
True.
Uber everywhere.
I want to know what intoxication means. But all right, Michael, you're on the board with 1 point. And you're going to start on question number 2. Aspen officials are revisiting the idea of private pot consumption clubs. Denver-based Munch & Co. held a private consumption party coinciding with which popular Aspen event? Great, you get the Colorado question.
Excellent.
Is it A, the Food and Wine Classic, B, Aspen Film Fest, C, the X Games, or D, the Aspen Birdwatching and Knitting Festival, sponsored by Red Bull?
I don't think it's that last one for some reason.
Okay.
Let's see.
It might not be the last one any of these times.
I would ask Jake to repeat the last one more time, because I think all you remember is Red Bull.
Sensing a pattern.
There's a plug there? Is there a plug there? Is Red Bull paying you guys?
Let's go with the X Games. That seems...
That is correct.
Whoa,
2
really?
points. All right, clear.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
They've done 3 annual events that coincide with the X Games. Apparently, it's like a private thing. It's not a club or anything.
Right.
But you show up and there's pot food, pot drinks. Have you guys, you've done a private pot party. Have you ever been to like a...
I have. The Aspen stuff is really interesting to me because the kid who helped me start everything, Kyler Sharoni, who's not here right now, he lives in Aspen, and 2 of his best friends compete in the X Games, and they're also big Resolution fans. I can't give them the name because Red Bull might tell them otherwise. But yeah, that's really exciting. Like to us, because we try and do a lot of plug with skiing and things like that. You can cap your bowl, get out in the woods.
See, I think it just makes sense. But all right, we're gonna give you a chance to get on the board real quick, Dakota.
Try.
Question number 3. The Colorado Department of Agriculture may soon be studying the effects of what in livestock feed? Is it A, CBD, B, hemp, C, low levels of THC, or D, pot brownies?
B, hemp.
B is correct. All right, we're making it a game, folks. Yeah, they're apparently, so they tried to get something going with chicken feed, and they were like worried that the THC might get into the poultry. You might have some, I mean, what essentially are going to be Sprig canned chickens, but with the weed already.
It's going to be your guy. Natural chicken. That's your guy.
You say there's a pairing here. But no, they're going to start letting cattle eat hemp, which I think's great. We need to work on.
They've been asking for it forever, so it's.
I mean, it was part of our agriculture, you know, for so long. But yeah, why not let them eat hemp? Let them eat hemp, I say. All right, Michael, you have a chance to win it all right here with question number 4. Vermont's Human Rights Commission alleges the state discriminated against a man when it denied him medical marijuana for what condition? Is it A, obsessive compulsive disorder, B, lupus, C, PTSD, or D, restless leg syndrome?
I'm going to go with PTSD.
That is correct.
What?
3 points to 1. And congratulations, Michael. You are our winner of this week's pop quiz. Let them hear it, everybody.
Congrats.
Thank you. Please.
Right on.
Speech. No one has to give a speech. That's the best part of the pot quiz. Thank you. That'll do it for this episode of the Cannabis Show. Thanks so much to Michael Lewis of Sprig and Dakota Wesley of Resolution Limited for joining me. And thanks to everyone who rated and reviewed the podcast and who also stopped listening to the podcast and came over and watched it. Please give me more reviews to read. It's free and I'm contractually obligated to read every word of them. For producer Vince and the entire Cannabis Show staff, I'm Jake Brown, and we'll see you next week.
I'm allowed to lose, the truth to win. I'm all in, I'm calling any posse you'll be raising at the end. I say it again, ain't afraid to get in. I be going for the jackpot with aces in my hand, I'm raw.